Music is more than just a sound. It is the heartbeat of people's culture and identity. In Asia, every folk song tells a story of farmers working in the fields, families celebrating festivals, or communities expressing their hope and struggles. Today, we will explore the colorful world of Asian folk music. As we listen and learn, we'll discover how these songs connect us through traditions, values, and unique way of life of different countries across Asia. Good afternoon, everyone, and please listen to this discussion, and after this, please answer the questions. The knowledge from this unit can be applied in creating shadow puppet plays, making visual artworks inspired by folk Asian traditions, and organizing community projects that showcase and promote cultural heritage through both traditional and modern expressions. Before we start our discussion, we will first have a short game for you to have an idea for our lesson for today. I will show you a series of video clips, 10 to 15 seconds, and what will you do is you need to listen carefully and guess what is the title of that song and which country is it from. Understand, class? Are you ready for our discussion? Okay, very good. Let's start. Let's start with our first song. Let's listen carefully.
Bahay kubo, kahit munti ang halaman doon ay sari-sari.
What is the title of this folk song and which country is it from? You have 5 seconds to answer. It is Bahay Kubo from the Philippines. Very good, everyone. Let's continue to our next song. Ano kayang song ito and from what country?
Arirang arirang arariyo, arirang kokeru no moganda.
What is the title of this folk song and which country is it from? You have 5 seconds to answer. Ito ay arirang mula sa Korea. Very good, everyone. What about this song? Can you guess which country is it from and what is the title of this song? Let's listen carefully.
好一朵美丽的茉莉花，好一朵美丽的茉莉花，芬芳美丽满枝桠。
What is the title of this folk song and which country is it from? You have 5 seconds to answer. Very good, everyone. You're correct. That song is entitled Moliwa or Jasmine Flower from China. Let's continue to our next song. Ano naman kaya ang kanta na to? And are you familiar with this? Asan kaya ang country ito mahahanap? Let's listen.
Sakura, sakura, no yama mo sado mo, iwatasu kagiri.
What is the title of this folk song and which country is it from? You have 5 seconds to answer. Very good, you made it, class. That song is entitled Sakura or Cherry Blossom from Japan. Let's proceed to our last song. Can you guess what country is it from and what is the title of this song?
Rasa sayang hey, rasa sayang hey, pilihan nyo na jauh rasa
What is the title of this folk song and which country is it from? You have 5 seconds to answer. Terrific, everyone! So for our last song, this is entitled Rasa Sayang. You're right, from Malaysia. Kamusta, class? Did you got it all correct? Very good. So based on the songs that you have heard, ano kaya ang lesson natin for today? You're right. So our lesson for today are the musical folk songs and traditions of Asian countries. Hello everyone, welcome back to our class. So for today, our lesson is all about the timeless tunes of Asian folk music traditions. This lesson explores the rich world of Asian folk music, its history, cultural roots, instruments, and iconic songs from different regions. By studying these traditions, you will appreciate Asia's cultural diversity, and discover how music reflects shared human experiences while deepening your connection to your own heritage. By the end of this lesson, learners should be able to identify and describe Asian folk music traditions, explain their cultural significance, and connect them to modern practices. You will also explore and respect these traditions, experiment with creative expressions, and create original adaptations that blend traditional and contemporary elements. Let's start! Ano yung pumapasok sa isip nyo kapag naririnig nyo yung word or yung words na Asian folk music traditions? Okay, very good. So, yan yung ating identity. Diyan napapakita yung ating lifestyle and yung ating history. Very good. Asian folk music includes traditional forms passed down through generations, reflecting each people's history, culture, and social life. It preserves heritage, expresses identity, and enriches festivals, rituals, and community events. Let's start our discussion with China, one of the East Asian countries. Today we'll explore the rich tradition of Chinese folk music, wherein it is one of the oldest and most influential musical traditions in Asia. Chinese music goes back thousands of years. Archaeologists found instruments from around 3000 BCE. And nung Tang Dynasty naman, China created the Imperial Music Bureau to preserve and organize music. Later, in Song Dynasty, poetry was combined with music, making the songs more expressive. And ngayon, Chinese music blends traditional sounds with Western influences, showing how culture continues to grow and adapt. Chinese folk music is deeply embedded in the country's cultural and philosophical traditions. So ang music, mga folk songs ng China, it is not about just entertainment, but it is part of their everyday life. Kinakanta yan during festival, religious ceremonies, and community gatherings. And also, ang laging tema or mostly ang tema ng mga Chinese folk songs is about nature, farming, love, and family, or yung mga bagay na malapit sa mga puso ng mga Chinese. And another is, isa pa sa mga naka-impluensya sa mga folk songs ng China is yung philosophy nila and religion. So one of their religion or paniniwalaan nila na nakaapekto sa music is yung Confucianism, wherein yung music na yan is ginagamit to teach morals and harmony. Another is Taoism, na ginagamit to show the reflection, to reflect the balance between nature. And another is Buddhism, wherein it affects the meditative and spiritual side of music. So let's continue. One thing that makes traditional Chinese folk music unique from other music is the five-note scale, or it is called pentatonic scale. Unlike Western music na meron tayong seven-note scale. Yung five-note pentatonic natin is this gives Chinese music a sound that is instantly recognizable and different from what we usually hear in Western styles. Diba kalimitan sa music natin, pati dito sa Philippines, ang mga notes na ginagamit natin is Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do. That is the seven-note scale or heptatonic. Pero in China, they are using five notes lang. So meron silang ibang tawag sa mga nota nila. And yan ay yung tinatawag na pentatonic scale. So yan ang unique sa music ng China. Okay, so let's continue with the instruments of Chinese folk music. Chinese folk music features many traditional instruments, and ito yung mga ilan sa mga importante na dapat niyong malaman. First, we have guzheng. Guzheng is a plucked zither that make a very expressive sounds, and ginagamit din yan to make harmony. So, ang guzheng natin yan ay what type of instrument? So, yan ay ating string instrument. Ito rin, meron niyang mga, para siyang gitara dito sa atin. Pero ang kaibahan niya sa gitara, ito ay nakahiga. And you can use many fingers. Ganyan ang guzheng. Another instrument mula sa China is yung erhu, or yan yung two-string fiddle na expressive and mayroong vocal-like quality. At ginagamit yan kadalasan sa solos. So ang ating erhu yan ay mukha siyang violin. But the only difference is that meron lang yung dalawang string. So, meron pa din yung iba-ibang tono, pero ang talagang tatandaan nyo dyan is dalawa lang ang string niya. At tinutugtog yan na parang violin. Next, we have the pipa, or a pear-shaped lute played with fast finger plucking. So, kilala ang pipa natin na, ayan, ginagamit para magkaroon ng melody. Finger plucking techniques. Kung kayo ay nagigitara, alam niyo kung ano yung plucking, di ba? Kayo ay gumagawa ng single notes na mabilis. So, yan ang ating plucking. And, another na instrument is yung ditsi or ditsa. Yan ay bamboo flute. Bamboo flute na nag-a-add ng distinctive reedy texture sa music. A bamboo flute with bright and reedy sound. So, yan ang ating ditsa. Ditsi. So, yan ang apat na kailangan nyong malaman sa musical instrument ng China. So, ano ulit yung una? We have guzheng, next is erhu, third ay pipa, at yung last ay yung ditsa or ditsi. Very good. So, one of the famous Chinese song is Mo Li Hua, or kapag kinranslate nyo yan sa English, yan ay Jasmine Flower. It dates back to 18th century at kilala yan for its simple and graceful melody. Ang kanta na to praises the beauty of jasmine flower, pero nire-represent niya din yung Chinese cultural values of elegance and harmony. Over time, it has been performed in many different styles, from simple singing to full orchestras, showing its lasting importance. So, okay, let's listen kung ano man ang tunog ng ating Mo Li Hua.
好一朵美丽的茉莉花，好一朵美丽的茉莉花，芬芳美丽满枝桠，又香又白人人夸，让我来将你摘下。 送给别人家，茉莉花呀，茉莉花，好一朵美丽的茉莉花，好一朵美丽的茉莉花，芬芳美丽满枝桠。 家。茉莉花呀，茉莉花。
Now, after nyo mapakinggan ang kantang Moliwa or Jasmine Flower, ano naman ang inyong masasabi? Or ano inyong reflect? Ano yung napansin nyo sa kanilang music? Very good. So, ang Moliwa, yan ay Chinese pentatonic music. Tatandaan na yan ay kinakarakterize niya ang flowing, lyrical quality at deep cultural significance ng China. 好一朵美丽的茉莉花. Now, let's continue and travel to another country. Ano kayang next na country natin? Very good, that is Japan. Let's travel to Japan and explore its folk musical traditions. Japanese music has a long and colorful history, blending outside influences with local, unique culture. Japanese music goes back to ancient times. So, dami nang napagdaanan ng Japanese music. And it all started when Japan was influenced by Chinese and Korean music, especially gagaku or the court music during the Nara period around 710 CE. So, madaming napagdaanan. Ngayon, later, during the Edo period, the arts thrived, and this was when kabuki theater and shamisen music became very popular. Ngayon, ang Japanese music natin continues to evolve. It mixes Western elements with traditional Japanese styles, showing how adaptable their culture is. Okay, let's proceed to our next slide. Just like Philippine folk music, ang Japanese music is closely tied to everyday life and religion. So, ang mga music nila is nagkapakita din kung paano ba sila nabubuhay noong unang panahon or kung ano ba ang sikat, ano yung lifestyle nila, at ano yung mga ugali nila. At ginagamit din ito when they do their ritual. It is used in Shinto rituals, Buddhist ceremonies, and festivals. Also, nagkapakita rin ang makanta nila, nagre-reflect din ng natural beauty of Japan, the changing seasons, and the daily lives of farmers and families. For example, maraming mga kanta nila ang kinakanta when they plant rice or when they harvest rice. Pinaniniwalaan na ito ay nagdadala ng good harvest at saka good fortune. And other songs also tell stories of legends and historical events, helping communities remember their traditions. So dito naman sa Philippines, ano yung mga kanta or folk music na alam nyo na nagkapakita din ng lives and hardships of farmers? Very good, yan yung Magtanim ay di biro. Ano pa? So marami din tayong mga kanta, mga folk music na nagpapakita ng buhay natin. So now let's continue to the characteristics of Japanese folk music. So ang tawag sa folk music ng Japan is minyo. And ito ay hindi lang one style, but it shows varied music styles across regions. And each area has its own version ng folk music, but all of them stay connected sa daily life, nature, at sa tradition ng Japan. Okay? Let's continue sa mga instruments na ginagamit sa Japanese folk music. Traditional Japanese folk music instruments has its special sound. First na nasa listahan natin is shamisen. Ang shamisen ay isang 3-string instrument na parang banjo at ang kaparehas niyan or almost related sa Chinese music is yung ating erhu. Another, we also have shakuhachi or yan yung bamboo flute ng Japan. Ang bamboo flute na yan ay with calm, pretty sound. Nang similar naman yan is ditzy sa ating Chinese music. And another, we also have the koto, or yung ating 13-string zither that sounds like harp. At ang kapras naman yan sa China ay yung ating guzheng o guzheng. And last, we also have taiko drums. Yan ay big drums that add strong, powerful rhythms. Together, these instruments create music that feels both lively and deeply spiritual. So now, let's continue sa kanilang folk song. Ang folk song ng Japan is called sakura, or kapag translate nyo yan ay cherry blossoms. So ang cherry blossoms na kanta, na folk song, is a simple, elegant, and often played with koto or shakuhachi. So ang song na ito is nagkapakita ng spring at beauty ng cherry blossoms, which are important sa Japanese culture. Listening to Sakura shows us how Japanese music values simplicity, beauty, and harmony with nature. So now, let's listen to Sakura. You can close your eyes while we are listening to Sakura, and after that, I will ask you questions. So ayan, after listening to the song, ano yung pumasok na images or feelings sa utak ninyo? Okay, very good. Thank you for sharing. So Japanese folk music is deeply tied to nature, pang araw-araw na buhay, at saka sa tradition. So now let's reflect. What is one similarity between Japanese folk music and Filipino folk music? And what is one unique feature that makes Japanese folk music different? So you can answer that sa sarili mo lang. And I will ask you sa ating face-to-face meeting. Okay, we are now done with the two countries. Now let's proceed to the next country. Well then, let's proceed to our next country. A land that is known as the Land of Morning Calm. And that is Korea. Korea is known for their tradition that beautifully connects the past with the present and even influences modern music like K-pop. Kaya din ng ibang country, Korea has roots going back to ancient times. At isa sa mga naka-influence sa kanila, or some of the countries that influence Korean music, is China and Mongolia. Now, during Joseon Dynasty, music flourished in Korea, and two important traditions emerged. Ang una ay ang pansori. Ang pansori is a form of dramatic musical storytelling, with just one singer and a drummer. And another is arirang. Arirang is the most famous folk song music of Korea na mahal pa din ng mga karamihan ngayon. Now, imagine listening to one singer telling a whole story with only a drum for support. What emotion do you think that performance would create? Excitement, sadness, or suspense? Korean folk music, or also called minyo, was part of daily life ng mga Korean. It was sung kapag sila ay nag-harvest, kapag may festival, kapag kasal, at saka mga iba't ibang religious ceremonies. And kadalasan ang mga tema ng song nila are about nature, love, hard work, or historical events. Music and dance were usually performed together, making celebrations more lively. Now, raise your hand if you've seen or joined a performance kung saan ang mga tao ay sabay na kumakanta at sumasayaw. Ngayon, let me ask you a question. How does adding dance change the mood of the music? Well then, let's proceed to the instruments of Korean folk music. First, we have gayagum, or a 12-string zither that is a central to Korean music. It is known for its delicate and nuanced sound. Delicate with rich tones. Another also have janggu. Kapag janggu, tatandaan na hourglass-shaped drum yan na ginagamit for rhythm or for beats para magkaroon ng yan, tamang pulse ang ating music. Another also have piri, a bamboo flute with a reedy sound. Ayan. Proceed to the second part of the instruments. We also have hegum, or a two-string fiddle with bright and piercing sound. We also have a book. Book is a barrel drum. Yan, nakikita yan sa mga Korean drama. Kung nanonood kayo ng mga historical Korean drama, yan yung tinutugtog nila or hinhit nila bago lumabas yung mga hari at reyna. Ganyan. Ang book ay isang barrel drum, and another also have wind instrument na tepyongso. Ayan, na double reed wind instrument. So yan ang ilan sa mga instruments na significant sa ating Korean music. Now, if you were to join or if you were making a Korean folk ensemble, ano yung pipiliin nyo sa mga instrument na yan? Gayagum, janggu, or hegum? Why do you think that instrument fits your personality? Tayo naman ay dumako sa Korean folk song na arirang. Ang arirang ay tinatawag ding the Korea's national unofficial anthem. So ang arirang, yan ay song na nag-express ng love, longing, and sorrow. Nagpapakita rin yan ng strength and resilience of the Korean people. Now, nagkaroon na yan ng maraming versions since isa nga ang arirang sa mga sikat na kanta sa Korea. Each town or each country, each place sa Korea is merong different melodies and lyrics for this song. And this is a simple song, pero kahit na simple yan, meron niyang deep emotional power. Okay, now let's listen to a short clip of Arirang. While listening, think about this. Does the song makes you feel calm, sad, or hopeful?
아리랑 아리랑 아라리요 아리랑 고개를
Arirang ko quero no maganda. And folk music is more than just a sound. It is a storytelling, emotion, and community life. From the powerful pansori to the heartfelt arirang, to the rhythms of traditional instruments, Korean music reflects the spirit of its people. Now, kung kayo ay magdi-describe or kung i-describe nyo ang arirang in just one word, using just one word, what would it be? Well, let's fly into the other parts of our country. We will proceed to West Asian folk music. At this point, we will explore the rich and unique folk music of West Asia, also known as the Middle East. This music is not only for entertainment, but it is a reflection of the region's unique culture, religion, and daily life. One of the most important features of West Asian music is the makam system. A makam system is like a musical scale, but it's more than just notes. It uses microtones. Microtones, ibig sabihin, yan yung notes na merong intervals that is smaller than a Western half step. If you're familiar with our Western 7-note scale, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti, Do, kasi ang Western note is meron niyang hula sa half step. Pero dito sa ating makam system, mas maliit pa siya kaysa sa half step ng Western note. That's why they are called microtones. At yan yung nagiging isa sa mga unique features. Isa sa mga unique feature ng ating Western Asian music. And also, each makam create a different mood. Yung iba is masaya, spiritual, and others are malungkot. Now, think of music you listen to. Have you noticed how some songs instantly feel happy, while others feel emotional or dramatic? Why do you think musicians use different scales or modes to express emotions? West Asian music has a very distinctive instrument. So meron din silang very unique set of instruments. First, we have oud. Oud, yan naman yung fretless lute or kung sa gitara siya, wala siyang yung parang bar lines, yung pag ganon. And ang isa sa mga paghahalata nyo kapag oud ay meron siyang baling leeg. So, tignan natin sa picture. Para siyang gitara pero meron lang siyang baling leeg at saka mas malaki yung kanyang sa may tiyan. Ganyan. Next, you have ney. A ney is a reed flute with breathy sound. Yan ang ney. And next, you also have darbuka or a goblet-shaped drum. Ang goblet shape, yan yung parang sa lalagyan ng wine ng mga fathers. Yan, sa simbahan yan ang goblet. Yan din ang darbuka. And next, you also have kanun or zither with many strings. So yan ang ilan sa mga instruments ng ating West Asian music. Then let's proceed to the cultural and religious role of West Asian music. Ang music ng West Asia is deeply connected sa mga buhay ng tao. Kasi una, yan ay makikita sa religion. Yan ay maririnig sa Quran recitations or yan yung Bible nila doon sa kanilang religion. And Sufi or Sufi ceremonies, yan naman yung meditative practice ng kanilang religion. And another, they can also use it sa kanilang daily life or sa kanilang secular. Secular, it means yan yung outside the church. Pwedeng yan ay maririnig sa weddings, dances, and storytelling. And also, yan din ay naririnig sa poetry. They combine music and poetry, creating powerful emotion. At merong term para dyan, yan ay yung tinatawag na tarab. Ang tarab, ibig sabihin yan is yung musical ecstasy. Ibig sabihin yung both performers and listeners feel deeply moved by the music. Yan. Isa sa mga countries under ng West Asia ay ang Turkey. So dito sa Turkey, they mostly use these two instruments. We have the zaz and zurna. Ang zaz, yan yung isang stringed instrument wherein ang unique dito is meron siyang mahabang leeg, long-necked lute. And another we have yung zurna. Ang zurna naman yan ang double reed woodwind. So dito sa ating Turkey's folk music, dyan natin makikita ang folk music na pwedeng gawing lively dance music. At yan ay mahanap sa Black Sea region. Pero meron ding mga sad emotional songs or melancholic songs sa Anatolia. Let's proceed to another country under the Western Asia, and that is Iran. In Iran, ang kilala dito naman is yung system na Dasga. Ang Dasga system naman, similar siya sa Makam but with its unique characteristic. So, main instrument under this folk music are the tar, santur, saka kamanche. And ang Persian music is deeply connected to classical poetry, with performances often centered around poetic recitations. To wrap up this part of our lesson, West Asian folk music is shaped by the Makam system, unique instruments, and a strong connection to religion, culture, and poetry. It is a tradition that expresses deep emotions and continues to influence music today. So if you could use one word to describe how you imagine West Asian music sounds, what would it be? For me, it would be mysterious. So what about you? So let's continue our journey around Asia. For this stop, we will discuss about the music under South, East, and Central Asia. We will continue our exploration to the colorful and diverse world of folk music. But now we will proceed to India. Unlike classical music, which follows strict rules, folk music is more spontaneous, community-based, and part of everyday lives. For the history and background of Indian music, ang Indian folk music natin is mas matanda pa kaysa sa classical music. It has been passed down orally through generations, preserving traditions and community stories. Sa paglipas ng panahon, naimpluwensya na din niya ng iba't ibang mga cultures, just like Persia and Mughal culture, which brought new instruments and styles. But despite the changes, yung folk music pa din ng India remains a living tradition. Folk music ng India is deeply rooted sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na buhay at saka sa ritual. And dito sa India, each region of India has its own unique style. In Punjab, we have Bhangra. Ang music nila doon is more energetic para sa mga harvesting festivals. And in Bengal or Baul songs, they are more of mystical and spiritual, often performed by wandering singers. So yan. At saka tatandaan na ang folk music ng India is more on agriculture, festival, birds, and religious rites. Like classical music, Indian folk music is not strict, ibig sabihin, yan ay medyo improvisational, hindi sila masyadong nako-conform sa rules. Spontaneous, simple, and repetitive, making it easy na maka-join lahat at saka pangmasa siya. And this shows that folk music is about community, para yan sa tao, hindi para mag-akit or to showcase their talents, but more on to create relationship, to create connection with other people. It is more than a participation rather than performance for an audience. These are some of the most important instruments in Indian folk music. Yan ay yung dolak. Ang dolak yan ay two-headed drum. Either way, sa taas or sa baba, sa gilid niya yan ay pwedeng tambulin. Another, you also have bansuri. Bansuri ang bamboo flute. You also have ektara. Ang ektara yan ay single-stringed instrument wherein you pluck yan yung string, then you can use also yung sides niya to control yung tunog. And another, last, you also have the sarangi or bowstring instrument. Yan ang ating most common or most important, some of the most important instrument under ng Indian music. One of the most famous regional tradition is from Rajasthan. Their folk music is vibrant, colorful. And meron din siyang three forms. They have maan or soulful, bhajan, devotional, and gumar or lively dance music. And most or kalimitan ng mga tema nila ay about heroism, romance, and devotion, which reflects the historical and cultural richness of the region. Now, why do you think stories of love, bravery, and devotion are common in folk songs? What does that say about the people, what people value? Ano daw yung sinasabi niya, kung ano ba yung pinapahalagan ng mga tao? Ang mga ito ay ilan lang sa mga instruments na ginagamit sa Rajasthani. We have kamaicha, dol, and algosa. So, itong tatlo na to ay nagkapakita ng stringed instrument, percussion, at saka isang aerophone or instrument na ginagamitan ng hangin or hinihihipan. So now, let's listen to an example of Rajasthani music. Okay, what can you say about the music of India or sa Rajasthani folk music? Okay, very good. So yan, ang Indian folk music natin is ancient, diverse, and community-centered. Yan ang tandaan natin. It connects yung pang-araw-araw na buhay, mga rituals, saka regional traditions. With its lively instruments and storytelling, it remains a vital part of India's culture today. Very good. So, for our last na discussion is about sa Mongolian naman. Let's proceed. Now let's travel to Mongolia, ang country na kilala sa kanyang wide grasslands and nomadic lifestyle. Ibig sabihin sila ay palipat-lipat kung saan mayroong pagkain, kung saan sila pwedeng mabuhay, sila ay lilipat sa lugar na iyon. So Mongolian music is as old as nomadic tribes themselves. And it tells us a lot about their deep connection to nature, animals, and freedom. So, ang Mongolian folk music ay na-develop sa pakikipagpalitan along the Silk Road, wherein nagmimit doon yung mga Chinese, Turkic, saka Tibetan traditions. But even with these influences, nakip pa din ng Mongolia yung kanilang unique musical identity. Now, during the communist era in the 20th century, ang music sa Tibetan or sa Mongolia ay na-formalize into a state ensemble. And ngayon, ang traditional practice kagaya ng throat singing and folk instruments are being revived and celebrated. Now, why do you think nomadic people who constantly travel across wide landscape would create music that connects so strongly to nature? Ang Mongolian, gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, yan na hindi lang for their entertainment. At hindi lang yan to connect with nature. Pero ito rin na ginagamit sa mga kasal, festivals, and rituals. At saka even with their shamanic practices wherein yung music ay ginagamit nila to call spirits and connect with the natural world. Their songs are passed down orally, meaning they are taught by memory and performance, hindi galing sa libro. This keeps traditions alive through generations. So ano nga ba ang unique dito sa Mongolian maliban sa kanilang paggamit ng music to call spirits? One of the most unique features of Mongolian folk music is kumi, or the throat singing. This amazing technique allows singers to produce multiple tones simultaneously using their mouth, throat, and diaphragm at the same time. Yan. They often imitate the sounds of wind, rivers, and animals. So yan ang kung saan kilala ang ating Mongolian sa kanilang throat singing or tinatawag nating kumi. And one of the important instruments to guide or to support the throat singing is called murinkur. Ang murinkur naman, yan ay horse fiddle in English, wherein it has two strings and a carved nose head at the top. It is considered a symbol of Mongolian. Tatandaan, ang murinkur ay symbol of Mongolia. And meron pa tayong iba't ibang instruments that will be shown sa next slide. So itong ilan sa mga instrument wherein they support the throat singing or yung folk music ng Mongolian. We have yatga or the plucked zither, tobshur or two-stringed lute, and next we have shans or the three-stringed instrument. So yan ang iconic feature ng Mongolian. The combination of throat singing and murinkur creates a powerful, unforgettable sound that connects listeners to Mongolia's nature and nomadic traditions. Kaya yung mga bagong tao or yung mga tao na nakakarinig for the first time ng music na ito is often amazed because it is very different from how we used to listen. Okay? Ito ay ibang-iba compared sa ating Western music. So dito na nagtatapos ang ating lesson. Asian folk music is more than just sound. It is a living reflection of culture, history, and identity. Each song tells stories of love, nature, daily life, and spirituality, passed down by one generation to the next. By recreating and adapting these folk songs, we not only keep traditions alive, but also make them meaningful for today's world. Blending traditional and modern elements show us that music is timeless and it connects to past, enriches the present, and inspires the future. For your activity/assignment, na ang title niya is Folk Song Fusion, Recreating Traditions with Modern Styles. Ang objective nito is for you to create, reimagine an Asian folk song by blending its traditional elements with modern musical influences, promoting both cultural appreciation and artistic innovation. For this activity, we will have 3 groups only, and each group will have 6 members each. At ang bawat grupo ay mamimili sa mga traditional folk song natin. 1 is Moliwa, 2 is Sakura, and 3 is Arirang. So, paano nga ba yung gagawin nyo dito? First, you need to, per group na ito ha, you need to listen and analyze yung song. Listen the original version and discuss the song's traditional elements like melody, rhythm, instruments, and mood. And after that, you will have your brainstorm para makagawa kayo ng adaptation ninyo kung paano ba yung strategy nyo, kung ano yung mga ilalagay ninyo, anong i-keep ninyo, anong idadagdag. So, yan ang need nyong gawin na susunod. Decide how to integrate modern styles. For example, yung pop music, gagawin nyo ba siyang pop music? Dadagdagan nyo ba siya ng sayaw? Ayan. But ang important dyan is keep yung essence ng folk song. For example, kung ang folk song na yan ay para sa mga ating mga farmers. So, i-keep nyo yung farmers na part, but you can also add yung refreshing twist niya. Ganyan. Be creative. Next, ang gagawin nyo naman na susunod ay mag-create na kayo ng arrangement. Sino ba yung kakanta, sino yung mga sasayaw, sino yung instrumentalist, sino yung gagawa ng beat. So, lahat ng yan pwede. As long as lahat ng members ninyo ay merong role. And another, you can use any instrument. You can use your body, guitar, or whatever instrument that you can use to make your performance better. And next is, of course, you need mag-practice kasi i-present nyo yan. If you cannot present it, pwedeng video. Since we have limited time na lang, I think it's better to have video na lang and you need to pass it sa Friday. So, after nyo mag-practice, kapag ready na kayo mag-present, mag-perform, mag-take na kayo ng video. Since we have limited time lang, marami tayong walang pasok, i-video nyo na lang siya, but you need to make it presentable. Magdamit kayo, ganyan, and make the video visible, entertaining, yan. Dapat maganda, presentable siya. And after that, meron kayong feedback part and reflection part. At ang deadline nito is Friday. So, diyan na nagtatapos ang lesson. Thank you so much for listening. Naway kayo makapag-review ng maayos at nang kayo ay makakuha ng mataas na grade or mataas na score sa ating